Alright, I started again. We'll see if it works this time.
Okay, put your feet down.
If I can get a cohesive intro going, that would be fantastic. But that's not going to happen because we're three idiots doing a podcast about Apex Legends.
Okay.
You saw that transition right there? That was next level. Anyway, I'm Nick. You know me from this channel. I haven't uploaded in a year, but suddenly there's just a podcast going up. It's going to be like an hour long. So that's what's up.
I'm Alex. I'm his friend. You may recognize me from another video. Wow.
And then there's this other kid.
I'm Matt, and these are
Not to be confused.
regretfully
This other Matt.
terrible friends.
Yeah, we're all terrible people. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
we're
he's not to
also
be
don't know
confused
what
with that
we're
other Matt who I played Minecraft with a year and a half ago. That's a different Matt.
I
This
don't
is a
play
different Matt.
Minecraft.
This is a real Matt.
So
Other
basically,
Matt's fake.
our podcast is literally just going to be us sitting here and talking.
Yeah,
So
so-
if you're not interested in us listening to us talk, leave.
You gotta go, dude.
Go.
You gotta get out of here quick before you start wasting time watching us talk about games we know nothing about. So, in case you didn't read the title, which you did, so I don't know why I'm saying this, but the podcast is going to be about Apex Legends and just Battle Royales in general. We're going to talk about Apex Legends because it's the trendy thing to do now. And so, we're going to give our opinions on it and the Battle Royale genre in general. So, we have crappy notes pulled up to kind of keep us on track so we don't veer too far off. And we'll try and be cohesive, but it probably won't be cohesive. We'll try.
Yes.
Alright, so what's first up on the list of things to talk about?
Overall, Apex Legends is a very good battle royale, in my opinion at least. That is basically what Apex Legends is. A battle royale. There's millions of them, and yes, it's basically a generic copy.
That was a fantastic description of the game, so let somebody who has common sense and logic describe it to you instead.
Go ahead, Matt.
Yeah, so Apex Legends is one of those battle royales that it kind of feels like a copycat of PUBG or Blackout, but I think that Apex has done it way better and it feels more polished just because it's from a AAA title.
Yeah, it's like Battle Royales over the past 2 years have just blown up. It started with H1Z1, and then PUBG came out and did things way better than H1Z1 did. And so Battle Royales as a genre just like blew up like that summer of 2017. And then Fortnite came out late that year and that blew up in 2018. And now we have Apex Legends coming out and it's trying to like clean up the genre, it feels like, because it's like the first polished one to come out, it feels like.
I guess this one doesn't seem like it's a really buggy mess.
Yeah, especially because it's coming from a
Like
AAA.
Blackout, right? Blackout came from a AAA developer, but that was still a pretty buggy mess.
Yeah, and I mean, that was from Activision.
Right.
So, I mean, you couldn't really...
We all know. how
Yeah,
that
we
turned
all
out.
know how Activision.
Triple A. And then this is EA, but I mean, it's Respawn, so it's really... It's
The
not
original,
EA, but it is EA.
Modern Warfare.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you've got actual developers who care about their products behind it. Respawn is probably... Like, what are some of their games that they're known for? Like, I know that
They're the
they're...
Titanfall. Titanfall is a really
Yeah, like...
This is basically what it's based off of. Think
Right,
of it
it's-
as Titanfall 3.
Right, it's in like the same universe basically.
Because Titanfall 2 came out at a pretty bad time because it came out at the same time as Battlefield 1, so they're kind of in competition with
Right,
themselves.
and
EA was.
Respawn's smaller.
Yeah,
Like,
and then
team.
so it came out at the same time as Call of Duty World War II and Battlefield 1. So Titanfall 2 didn't get much publicity, but that game was actually really good. Like compared to other shooters, it didn't have any like the pay to win or pay to play aspects. It didn't have everything locked
The
behind.
only
a
thing
paywall.
that was locked was cosmetics.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
Like for your Titans and stuff like that.
And so, it was like an FPS game that just didn't get a lot of publicity, and now that Apex Legends has come out, it's kind of cool to see the resurgence in that game.
Right.
Like, people are recognizing, hey, Respawn's a good developer, let's check out their other games. Titanfall 2 is getting more players now because of it. It's kind of cool. Anyway, back to Battle Royales.
So, compared to other Royales, what do you guys think? Like, what's its equal? What is Apex Legends equal?
Does it have an equal? What
It
is?
doesn't really have an equal because it's different than all the other ones, and that's
Right.
why it's so popular. It's like the two most popular, or at least the two that I've played outside of Apex Legends. I've only played one match, so I don't really know what I'm talking about. But the battle royals I played the most are Fortnite and PUBG, and basically PUBG is just trying to be like this kind of realistic take
Too
on the
realistic.
genre.
It's too
Yeah.
much like Call of Duty, but it's not Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and-
like PUBG was everything. Like it wanted to be Blackout, but it couldn't be Blackout.
yeah. And then Fortnite, everybody knows what the hell that is. It's basically Minecraft V2 but battle royale.
Yeah, right,
It took advantage of the whole genre that was made popular by PUBG, and then it took a spin with like kind of
Right.
aimed
It
at a younger audience.
added building.
It added building,
That's
which
really
is
the
which
only
is
difference,
huge,
right? Which is huge.
It was
but that's
huge.
literally the only difference.
and
because-
we'll get to that later about like how building kind of like changed the game a bit and how this game got popular because of building in Fortnite. But I think what made Apex so much better is that PUBG and Fortnite are both just kind of like they were eternally in betas. Like I know
Right.
PUBG's on a full release now, but when PUBG was in its prime, it was in kind of like a beta stage
Right.
where they were just releasing updates.
Right,
like,
and
every-
everything was so buggy
Yeah,
in that game.
kind of like what Fortnite's doing now. And so the reason why Apex I think is doing so good is because it's polished gameplay. It's from Respawn, so it plays a lot like Titanfall 2, like we said earlier. So the gameplay's fluid, and it doesn't feel like just this awful mess. It's unoptimized. Like on release, it's running pretty well on consoles and PCs alike.
minimal months.
Yeah, whereas PUBG, it was struggling to run well on even high-end PCs until like an Nvidia update that came out like midway through 2018, and by then most of the players of PUBG had switched to Fortnite already. So
Right.
it's kind of just took it. Apex came in and it just took what Call of Duty Blackout and PUBG were trying to do, and they just did it right.
Right, and I feel like there were a lot of elements from Fortnite into it, like with the style of it. It's
Yeah.
really cartoonish. Like it's not trying
Yeah,
to be
'cause it's
super
the,
realistic. It looks a lot
Cell
like
shaders,
Fortnite.
that's what it's
Right,
called,
exactly.
cell shading.
It looks a lot like Fortnite in a way of like just a cartoon. Because like all the characters look like they're straight out like an anime or something like that.
And I think on the topic of how the game looks, we can kind of go into like cosmetics and microtransactions too. So you can actually earn, from what I know, you can
In-game.
earn in-game
You
currency
can earn in-game
from
currency.
actually playing the game. I know this is
Right.
a novel concept that hasn't been used in years, ever since loot boxes became a thing. But apparently, you just get in-game currency for winning games.
But the problem with that is, from what I know or what I've seen, is you can only buy 2 characters with that in-game currency.
Right,
The
yeah.
rest of it is crafting materials, which is another, I guess, currency.
Which also kind of pisses me off how
Yeah.
there's characters locked behind a paywall. And I feel like these characters are kind of considerably better than like the other characters. Because some of them have really good abilities that will like kill you. Like I forgot which one. The last character, I forgot what his not the toxic guy. What was his name?
Bolton? The Bolton?
No, Mirage.
Oh,
the,
yeah,
the
Mirage.
guy locked behind a wall. Like that
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I remember fighting that guy and like him literally sending decoys around, and then literally the rest of his team will just come behind you and kill you.
Yeah.
And like it would just create these kind of unfair situations where like these guys have access to the overpowered characters because they've played so much longer than you. Like I started playing like a week after it was launched, like me and Matt, and literally we were running into people who had like over 300 kills
Yeah.
in that
it's like-
game, and it was like
The problem with that is it's probably like all 20-year-olds,
Right.
30-year-olds, people with no lives.
Right.
Yeah.
All the
Like,
sweats
we have
came
to go
on.
to school,
right.
and like, also we have lives.
We have lives
So-
as well.
But I feel like that's something we forgot to mention at the beginning, is that Apex Legends is kind of it's almost a hero shooter mixed with a battle.
Kind of like Overwatch as well.
It's
I
like it's
feel
got a roster of heroes that you choose from in case you haven't played it yet. But it's got a roster of heroes you can choose from. Like we said, there's 2 locked behind a paywall that you can unlock them with in-game currency. But it kind of changes the way the game is, because now you have all these different play styles and play elements that you can learn, and you can change how you play, and that makes the game interesting, because every other battle royale we've talked about, it's just like one linear strategy. When you learn how to play the game, you just play the game the same way over and over again, whereas in this game, you have multiple heroes to learn how to play, and that's going to take you a lot longer than just learning one play style.
Right.
And so I think that'll increase the longevity of the game for sure.
Definitely.
It's very, very fast paced.
Oh yeah. There's only 60 people in the game.
Yeah,
It's
right,
not
like
like a traditional battle royale.
I'm like,
where-
how
But there are
long-
times where you don't run into someone until like your final
Right.
two squads.
Right. The only game me and Matt have actually won together is when we camped.
Yeah, and we saw
And
no
we
one.
saw no one for like. I mean, you could say that's because we camped, but we were in the circle the whole time. And
Yeah,
we
like,
were
not
like,
around
and we
the
were
edges,
dead
we were
center in
dead
the
center.
circle. So you think we'd run into people, but we found some high ground and we just camped with snipers, and that's how we won our
So
game.
like, how long did matches last on average?
Matches take around 25 minutes, 25 minutes.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, no, they're pretty fast.
Well,
That's about normal.
It's about
normal.
normal, but like,
I mean, an average Fortnite match is 18.
right.
Yeah. So,
Okay, so a little bit longer, because I feel like the map might be a bit too big for the amount of players that are on
It
it.
feels like you're running really slow.
Right.
Most people don't hold Y or triangle if you're
Right.
okay, play PlayStation. You just
You run
start-
too,
yeah,
too
you just
slow.
run
You
too
run too
slow.
slow, and it slows the whole game down. In our
Yeah.
opinions.
Yeah, because you run slow, but don't you like go faster if you slide?
Right, you
Yeah,
you
you
can
can
slide down
slide
hills and
very
stuff.
far.
Like there's some good game mechanics as like
Yeah.
like the ultimates, which we're gonna get into later. But like general like quality of life improvements, like climbing over obstacles and buildings, which really helps because you don't have to take stairs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Like,
you
it
don't
makes
have-
it makes combat move so much more fluidly.
For like people who are like Titanfall veterans, there's no more double jump, which sucks. But there's gonna be a new legend that can double jump and wall run.
Right,
And there's no wall running anymore. You can only climb like a few feet.
right,
But,
yeah.
So it's just another way to like change up the game.
Yeah.
Like you can have a character where you have to learn like where you can wall jump and like
Right.
MLG Dorito and something like that.
Definitely, yeah.
Not that I've played any more than like 2 minutes after dying. You never know. You never know. So
Anyways, so my favorite hero.
In this game is Gibraltar,
Yeah.
big guy with the shield, because I am. Well, I like my personal play style and like every game I play, I like to be tanky. And like this guy, he has like a shield he can pull up with his arm, and he can throw down a shield dome, and like as a last ditch effort for his ultimate, he can protect himself with an orbital airstrike, which is really good. It's gotten me out of a couple of situations,
And
and
the
it's
dome
also
protects
killed
you.
me in a lot of
The
situations
dome
as
can
well.
protect from all, like actually everything. Protects from everything.
Right, right, yeah.
Nothing can.
It's kind of like a bubble shield from Halo, basically.
Yeah,
it
Halo 3.
surrounds you completely. And my favorite tactic I like to use in the game is literally throwing down a bubble shield and then throwing the airstrike right on top of me, and there's people surrounding me. Because there's been situations where I've been surrounded by two teams, like out in the middle of the open, and I literally just do that for cover, and I can heal up. I can use I can regenerate my shields, and I can possibly have be able to survive, which is unlikely, but it's better than dying.
Yeah, people are brave in this game. They'll
People are
slide
really
into
brave.
your
They will just-
personal
yeah.
bubble and just stay shooting you up.
Yeah, there has been plenty of times where I thought I was safe in the airstrike, and they will just run right through, and they will just shoot you, and it's
yeah,
over.
people are thirsty in all battle royale games.
Oh, yeah,
that's
no,
what
they-
sucks. And that's another thing they added in this game too is that you can actually revive and like respawn teammates that have been like completely eliminated.
Right, yeah. So once your teammate goes down.
It discourages thirst killing, which if you don't know what thirst killing is, you never played Fortnite in squads at least. Because basically what thirst killing is after you get knocked, or I don't know what they call it in Apex.
You get down.
knocked.
It's just down.
Whenever
You
you're
get
knocked or
someone
downed or
you're-
whatever
before you
by
die.
somebody, before your teammate has a chance to revive you, the enemy team just kills you. And so then your team has to go on the rest of the game without you because the enemy team decided, instead of knocking you down and focusing on the rest of your squad, they decided to knock you down and just get the kill. They wanted to get that extra kill on their kill-death ratio. And so I like that they added in that you can just revive your team.
Also, you have the shield that can protect you, which I really like, because like you have a portable shield when you go down, and you can find different levels of variants that have different amounts of health. So basically, like if you're kind of in a long range battle, you're not gonna die. Because you have enough time. Like if you have a good shield, like a blue shield, rare, whatever you want to call it, you can turn that on. That has enough health for you to crawl to some cover and get with a team, and so they can revive you. So that's what I really like about it. So going down isn't really necessarily the end in this game because you can still protect yourself. There's still something you can do when you go down.
Yeah.
So what's your favorite character?
Mine would have to be Bloodhound, just because his passive ability is you can see footsteps up to 30 seconds from like back in time, I guess, and you can just trace it. You can actually catch up to people. It's actually really good because he also has his next ability, his ultimate, which is you can see enemies where they're highlighted red on your screen. Everything else is black and white. And you get a speed boost and a damage boost.
Right. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It's been really good, like comboing with Gibraltar
Yeah.
as a tank,
Yeah.
because literally we see teams like fighting other teams, and then I will literally just throw my orbital strike on them as they're fighting, and we literally just go on cleanup duty and we kill them all.
Yeah.
Like we've eliminated multiple squads before as they were fighting each other just because of Bloodhound and like leading us through a fight, and it's been really like useful.
It's better to chase fights in this game.
Right, it is better to chase fights. It's better to engage the fight and have them
Yes.
fire the first shot.
Yeah, because the footsteps in this game are very silent. You can barely hear anyone
Right.
coming through. And the gunfire you can hear from across the map.
Right.
So you'll think that someone's right next to you, but they're actually like all the way farther. And then like when you hear nothing, it's just they're standing right behind you.
Right.
Yeah, so that's interesting.
Right. So what about you? What character did you play with?
So I've played a grand total of 1 Apex Legends match. I knocked down 2 people, but then got thirst killed, and I left because my squad didn't revive me. And because it was randoms. So, basically, in case you don't know, these plebs are on Xbox and I'm on PC, so I have to play alone. And so, the character I played as, so I was looking through the roster, and I was like, which one do I want to play as? Because they all look like weebs, and I don't want to play as a weeb. And then I was like, you know what? This robot right here, he knows what's up. So I played as whoever the robot guy is. And I didn't get to use any of his abilities because I died so quick. I just picked up a gun, sprayed down a couple people, and I got killed. And my team just left me on like the supply ship. And they were already way down on the map, just away from me.
Yeah, supply ship.
You can
Yeah.
drop down.
Yeah, you can. You can.
What I
There's
was
no
dead.
fall
There's no fall
damage.
damage.
No, but I was like super dead.
Oh,
I was
okay.
dead before that happened.
Okay, gotcha.
So
Right.
because my teammate had control of where we dropped,
Right.
which is something I didn't know was a thing
Right, jump masters.
until I got into the game, and I was like, wait, so I can't control where I go. So then he had us land on the supply ship, and then it's just me there with like 2 or 3 other squads, and then I looked down and like 2 guys just jumped off the ship, and I'm like, what are you doing? And I'm just dead.
Right.
So that was kind of
Team play in this game is vital to survival. If you do not stick together as a
Very
team,
easy
right,
to communicate, even if you don't have a mic.
right,
You're
because there's
too
something
scared.
there's something called ping
Yeah.
in the game where for us where we just click RB on the controller, and one tap tells us where we want to go. 2 taps tells us there's an enemy, and like you can also ping like other things like loot and stuff like that, and you can also go into your inventory and ask for ammo and stuff like that,
Yeah.
attachments, which I really like. So
Oh,
if
yeah.
you're not even if you don't have a mic, you can still kind of communicate with your
That's
teammates.
right. I remember playing through the tutorial, and I thought it was really cool how the marker system worked, like you were talking about. Because, like, in Fortnite and PUBG, it was really annoying that you would have to open up the map and then just, like, find the place on the map that you want to mark and then mark it.
Right.
Especially if you're playing in squads, you don't really have time for that, especially if you're in an engagement. If you spot an enemy, you don't want to take the time to open up your map menu and then scroll around, find where you want to, like, mark, and then zoom out, and then you're like, well, crap, he's not there anymore.
Right.
So now it's just like you just put your reticle on them, and then you just click a button, and then it marks them, so you know where they're at.
Right.
I think that's something that they'll probably incorporate in any battle royale games that are to come in the future. Because if they don't, then they're just kind of going back.
Yeah.
Because I think that's something that's going to push the genre forward is better marking. Because there's nothing worse than joining a squad as a solo and then having no way to communicate.
Right, right, because they're all in their own party,
Yeah.
and like there's like 3 groups. There's like we've done this before. We're
Yeah.
guilty of this. We've joined as a group of 3, and then we would have a squad, and there would be 1 extra random, and then the guy would literally just land. Like this is when we were playing PUBG. This guy would just land far away, and he would immediately die, and it would immediately we'd be at a disadvantage because we'd be at a 4v.
Yeah.
And so, like, I really like how the pinging works because, like, you could even like confirm like that's where you want to go. Because like if you look at the ping of someone's done, like you can say okay, and like everyone sees. Like, there's a little HUD that tells you like okay, that's I understand that you
And
ping.
the HUD's not in the way of your damn.
Right, the HUD's not in the way. It's where the kill counter is. It's like it shows who's dying and stuff like that.
Yeah, and I've seen people who've posted on Reddit and other social media that they've won games in Apex using the in-game chat system alone, like not using any voice chat. They just use like the emotes, I guess you would call them.
Yeah, emotes.
It's
And-
really good. It's really easy communicating, really fluid, easy communication. Like it's not like where you have like an emote wheel where you have to say thanks, like in Blackout or something like that, where you just say over there, need help or whatever. It's literally simple and easy. You press one button and it says you pick this up, go here, or there's an enemy.
Yeah.
And it makes things so much easier.
Yeah. If you haven't like experienced it and haven't played and used the marker, like you should try it out because it's something that I haven't experienced in like any other game. Because markers, I've never used markers in any other games because they just suck. They're just awful. Nobody wants to open up a map, especially these guys who's playing on controllers. You have to move around that
Right.
joystick.
And that's what
gonna
it's
take-
really like.
That's gonna take forever to like open up the map and then scroll around on like that joystick. Because even on a mouse it's slow, but I could just imagine just trying to find a place. That sounds awful. It's nice to have it as like a button now. It's just
Right.
super easy.
Right.
Do you guys like that it's a resquad?
Oh god.
I honestly I really like the diversity of the battle royale. Like I really like how much it's changed because it's only teams of 3,
Yeah.
and that really makes it all about teamwork.
Yeah.
Because like solo, like obviously there's no teams. Duos, like you could literally go by yourself. You could win a duo easily if you were skilled enough at the game. But like having a trio makes it, even if you're a skilled player, like you're still gonna have a rough time if you're by yourself. Like if you go by yourself, that is.
I think that Apex Legends, and maybe it's just because I'm on PC and I don't get to play with anyone, but like I think that if they added in a solos and a duos, I think that would be fine. I don't think they need to go past like 3-person teams. They could add like squads or something in the future.
I honestly think.
But I think that I don't think that there's any harm in them adding in a solos or duos playlist. I really hope they do because, even with the innovative and great like in-game system they've put in to communicate with other players, it's still not like having call-outs and having an actual squad that you're talking to through voice chat. And so I think having a solo mode would be. Or a duo mode or both modes added with the trios would be good.
I feel like it was a bit rushed out. I feel like I'm not saying with the bugs or anything. I feel like
They should have taken the time and added a solo and a duo.
Yeah,
I feel like that's
I'm
still important
surprised.
to the game.
Yeah, because I was super surprised to find out that it was actually only trios. I
Right.
only found out a couple days ago.
Because like Nick's saying, like he can only play by himself. I mean, and like after we just got done praising like the squad cooperation stuff like that. But what happens if you don't want to do that?
Because what'll happen is people will see like, oh my god, there's this Apex Legends on social media. They go home and download it, and they're like, oh, so it's only trios. They're going to try and get their friends to play it, or they're going to be like, you know what, I don't want to go through the effort of getting all my friends to download it, getting all my friends who are on the same platform to download it, because then that's a lot of work. So I'm sure they're going to add a solos and duos playlist in the future. There's no way they're not going to. It's probably too highly requested at this point.
Right.
And it's just a feature of every other Battle Royale. Why would you not have a solos mode when every other Battle Royale does? Because that means that all the solo players are going to play other Battle Royales, and that's not something you want as a business, I'm sure. Something that I think they could do, though, is I think they could keep trios as like the premier game mode, like you could say,
Right. Exactly.
Because like in all the other games,
I
like
do not
solo,
think they should add squads. Squads, I don't think should ever be added.
No.
Like teams of 4, that ruins the whole.
unless they
Ruins
made like
the flow.
bigger,
Right.
unless they made bigger maps with more players, then I think 3 is probably good, especially for 60-person games. But I think that if they had like trios as like their premier game mode, the one that they like do tournaments, events for, and stuff like that, I think that's fine. But I just think that as just game modes are concerned, I think solo duo should be. So
Right.
And what else I think is interesting too is the game released like what, a week and a half ago.
Right, and it's already doing better than Fortnite, which makes me really happy.
At least Fortnite, it's doing better than Fortnite right now.
Right.
It's not doing better than Fortnite in general.
Right, not in general, but the first couple of days, like, it beat the amount of players that were on Fortnite in like 2 weeks. I read that somewhere. I forgot. What
Yeah. At least it beat the number of players on Fortnite in the past 2 weeks. It like Fortnite at its peak, like its peak concurrent players was something like 8 point something million online at once, and I think that Apex reached like 2 million in like the first week.
Right.
And that's more than concurrent players than I think Fortnite's had in the past 2 weeks. Apex just released at a perfect time, and I think that's part of the reason why it was kind of rushed out with one game mode. And it's because what happened in Fortnite is we're reaching the end of the Fortnite Battle Pass. There's only 2 weeks left in the Battle Pass. But the extra 2 weeks that are left in the Battle Pass are like an extra 2 weeks. So I don't know how to like word this. But like the battle pass in Fortnite right now is the longest battle pass that's ever been added. So a lot of people are finishing the battle pass really early, and then they're just left with 2 weeks to go in the battle pass season with no incentive to play because they've already done everything. And with Fortnite having trouble pushing out wanted updates, like version 7.4 was supposed to release like yesterday or 2 days ago, and it hasn't come out yet because they've run through hiccups and stuff like that. It's gonna come out later. I think tomorrow morning, actually, it's going to release. But, like, with game delays like that, and there's, like, nothing to do in the game right now.
Here's the thing with
at a perfect
Fortnite,
time.
too, is, like, the content is getting stale. It's getting really old really fast. There's one map, and they make minor changes to it, like getting rid of, what was the place that they got
it
rid
is
of?
only the first week.
It is only the first week, but they only get rid of locations, and they only change the map aesthetically. Every single time you play the game, it's going to be the same map. So I feel like that's why a lot of players that were on Fortnite moved to another battle royale game that was different because they were probably tired of the map.
Well, exactly, because
Like that was something.
the battle pass seasons are long. They're like 3 months,
Right.
and for those like 3 months, you're just playing on the same map. There's no like they do the little events here and there. They're kind of cool, but it's like the same formula for every battle pass. It's like there's a cool tier 100 skin, and then you get a couple of like plebby guys you can upgrade throughout the time. And they're gonna have to change something up to like make the battle pass more interesting.
Right.
Because if Fortnite wants to stay on top as like the #1 battle royale, their next battle pass has to be like really good. Because if it's not, then they're just
They
gonna
need
like,
to add way more content.
yeah, they're gonna like
It
fall
needs
behind.
it needs to have more content because all these new battle royales that are coming out. I forgot there was another battle royale that was like a complete copycat. I completely forgot its name. It was like I forgot. I completely blanked the name. But
I think I saw that.
yeah, it was like a Fortnite basically with spells.
Yeah.
And like,
it's Crown Royale.
Yeah, Crown Royale. That's right. It's literally the same thing as Fortnite, but it has additional content.
Yeah.
That's literally what Crown Royale is.
Mhm.
I played a couple of matches of it before, and
It's actually really fun.
yeah, it's actually pretty fun. And I don't like Fortnite, but I feel like since like it was new and it was fresh, with like and the different kind of abilities you could do in that game, it was really fun. Because Fortnite just is so stale now. Because like the character, like it's like you spawn in with a different skin, like on like Apex, where like you have different characters and it's like diverse because each one has a different ultimate, a different LB ability,
Yeah.
and like a different like passive ability, which is really cool because it really diversifies the
Different play
gameplay.
styles and
Right.
stuff, so it's a different
Right, there's different
matchup.
gameplay styles that keeps things interesting. But Fortnite, you land, you grab a gun, and you pray to God you don't get killed.
Yeah. Exactly.
That's
Or
literally
you
what
don't.
Fortnite
Yeah,
is. And if
exactly.
you don't get killed, you go and you get really good guns,
And I
and then
feel
you
like-
probably get sniped.
And that's probably another thing I need to mention too is like isn't time to kill in Apex pretty long?
Oh yeah.
Like in Fortnite,
Yeah.
if you get caught off guard,
Guns.
like from somebody shotgunning you from behind, you just get hit by
That's
an
what I
AR.
really like about
Literally, like
Apex.
two-thirds of your health is just gone if you get caught off
Right.
guard in Fortnite. Like you
Right.
can just be killed being caught off guard. Whereas,
Apex is a lot in a way of like Halo, where you have a shield if you have that armor, and that really protects like because like it only when you get shot like protects it only affects your shield if that makes sense. Your shield is like an extra health bar, which is
Yeah.
like in Halo where you have your shield which protects over your health.
Mm.
Unlike if like Fortnite or
More like
Blackout or
Destiny.
PUBG or right, kind of like Destiny, or in any of those other battle royale games I just listed, where like armor only kind of limits the amount of damage. Like the best armor in Blackout only does 50% less in bullets instead of giving you extra health. And I feel that makes engagement really one-sided. It's like whoever shoots first is gonna win. Most of the time, whoever shoots first is gonna win.
Yeah.
In those situations.
Mm-hmm.
But there are people who can 1v3.
Right. I'm not saying. I'm saying most of the time because there are really skilled people out there who like.
Yeah,
really
and that's
play
another thing that we were going to talk about is the skill gap. So like one of the things that pisses me off the most about Fortnite is when you see some pleb just running around out in the open, out in a field. If you play Fortnite right now,
What the fuck is a pleb?
a pleb is just like another word for a bot.
It's like
A bot is somebody who's really bad at the game. You've really never heard of that term? You know what a bot is in a game, right?
Think of a noob. It's just a noob.
It's just a
You're
noob.
gonna have to edit this out.
It's a noob. I'm not editing this out. This is sad. This is education right here. I'm listing this as
Oh.
educational on YouTube.
Anyways.
Basically, what pisses me off the most in Fortnite is when you see somebody just running around in an open field with like no sense of like position whatsoever. You start shooting at them, and they just build a castle fortress in like half a second. It's like
That's so ridiculous.
it's like
the building of Fortnite just pisses me off because I am personally. I'm gonna admit. I know it's gonna sound like I'm a hater, but like I suck at building, and like the people.
Everyone sucks at building.
But no. There's really good people who like know what they're doing. Like they just build a castle and then your deck because they immediately are elevated above you. They probably have better guns than you because they know what they're doing, and then they just kill you in 3 shots
Yeah,
because
and
they probably have a golden
like-
scar or something.
And like, there's a different skill to be had there because in Fortnite, if you want to be good at Fortnite, you have to be good at building. So it's a whole other skill that you have to learn that you don't have to learn in other games. But like, what I think Apex brings to the table that PUBG and Blackout also did is that you have to be more careful about your position. Because in Fortnite, you can just run wherever the heck you want. And as soon as you start getting shot at, you know that you can just like turbo build and just like block everything.
Turbo
with
build or
walls.
die.
Yeah. And so you have to be careful with your run. You can't just run out in the open in the middle of the map, start getting shot at, and just build a castle. You have to actually know where things are on the map. You need to know positioning, know where you can and can't get shot at. And I think that's like a skill in and of itself is just like knowing your map.
And
position.
also like knowing how to use like the skills of your legends in Apex,
Yeah.
because that's just a whole different story. Like, cause like with mine, it's like the thing that Gibraltar has is a defensive barrage. It's literally called defensive barrage because you're only supposed to use it to protect yourself.
Did you hear you fumbled over so
I
many
fumbled over
words.
so many words. Oh my god. Anyways, but like I was saying
okay?
before, I am perfectly fine, Nick. Anyways, like we were talking about the skill level.
Thing.
The thing, like the Gibraltar or whatever the fuck his name is.
Shit yourself.
Are you okay?
I'm great, thanks for asking. Anyways, Gibraltar and his defensive barrage, you gotta use it tactically, and basically if you fail to use it tactically, you're gonna die. That's how it is. If you don't know how to use your player, you're gonna die.
I feel
You don't know how to use
like a
spells,
lot
but
of
you're
your
gonna die.
sentences that you've said during this so far, and like, if you don't do this, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
If you don't do this, you're gonna die.
You're gonna die.
You're just gonna freaking die, dude. Let's take a London.
Literally at the same time I reach for my water bottle, this guy just decides he needs to drink his water too.
Yeah, I see how it is.
Rubber's coral.
I'm suing.
Anyways.
Copyright.
Back to the skill gap. So, Matt, you take it away since I'm obviously incapable. What do you think about like Apex, like, and how the legends have like different ultimates and stuff like that, and how you need to learn how to use them?
Skill gap wise, it's actually really easy though.
Right. No, it's easy to learn, but it's hard to master. It's one of those games where like it takes a
Yeah.
while. To
Well, unless you're like a shithead and take the wingman and find the attachment where it does increase headshot damage, where you can literally one-shot someone with sniper range
right.
with this pistol that has like no recoil at all. It looks like it has recoil because it shakes the screen, but it's actually just shaking the screen, not your actual gun. So yeah, that's one
Yeah,
of those.
it's ridiculous.
So
It's
I
so
hate that.
Put a
it's so
scope on
overpowered.
it.
There's- yeah.
shoot someone from like across the map, and it's like, oh, headshot dead.
God, I hate games that do that, where it just shakes your screen.
Right.
Well,
Unnecessary.
Call of Duty is known for that.
Right. Call of Duty when you
And
shoot.
then you got
that-
the Peacekeeper, the shotgun, that if you have the same attachment, you can charge it up.
Right.
and that also has sniper range, and you can do like 225.
Yeah, no,
damage.
that's it. I've been
So it's a
sniped
one
by
shot
a
and
shotgun, and that really irritates the living crap out of me.
Yeah.
Because, like, why is it a shotgun if you're going to use it for sniping? It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So there's some stuff that does need balancing,
Yeah.
Well, absolutely, yeah.
but
I mean, it's out. It's like its first week and a half, so there's
Right,
obviously
okay.
flaws that
Right.
we
you
recognize.
just got to get some leeway.
But you know, those are just things that are happening right now.
Right.
Something I think is cool though is that they already have like a Valentine's Day thing going on, like in game or something. I read that somewhere.
I
know
don't
if that's
think-
true.
It'll
I don't-
probably start
Yeah, tomorrow. It starts
Yeah.
tomorrow.
Yeah, like they're already doing like seasonal events, like it's a week and a half release. That's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's actually very interesting.
Which is it's interesting if it comes out tomorrow because Fortnite delayed their update until tomorrow morning. So-
Right.
Making
So meaning that their Valentine's Day update is going to come out at the same time as Apex's if Apex's does come out tomorrow.
I feel like Apex is going to be able to outcompete Fortnite.
Well, it will for the first
Yeah,
two.
definitely.
For the
It's
first
going
two
to outcompete.
It
But
depends.
they're gonna send their or they're starting with the updates like the pass, not or like
Mhm.
the battle pass will happen, but we'll still get free content. Like we'll get new weapons. We get new in March, starts March. New weapons, new characters, new parts of the map.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and it'll be like 3 weeks on volume.
Yeah. Wow. And so, yeah, I was going to say something, but I completely brain farted. So I'm going to try and regain the thought I just had. Because it was going to be something that was going to add to the conversation. And now it's not something that's going to add to the conversation. I have to remember what it was. But I've said so many things since I forgot that I'm definitely not.
Moving on. What do you think of gun handling and like the guns overall? And like what do you think of your favorite guns?
Can you only hold 3 guns? Is
You
it
can only
2
hold
guns?
it's 2 guns.
It's
It's
two
two
guns.
guns.
I don't know because I've only played 1 game.
Right. No. Okay. Well, then what do you think of like gun handling? What
It felt good. It felt fluid. You were able to swap between weapons pretty quickly. I like that it's not like a scroll wheel.
Right.
Yeah.
Like at least yeah, there's a scroll wheel between weapons, but like what sucks is when you have like 3 or 4 weapons in your inventory. I'm talking about Fortnite. When you have like 3 or 4 weapons in your inventory, it's hard to like scroll accurately. You have to keybind for that. And it's nice to not have to keybind because you have 2 weapons. You just scroll. It's fluid. It switches quickly. I mean, it's Respawn. It basically feels like Titanfall 2, which in my opinion was like the best shooter that's come out
Right.
in a long time.
Right.
So,
I agree.
I don't know.
And on Xbox, it's
Fluid.
also super fluid. It's like any first-person shooter. You just
Well,
press Y,
the bloom,
triangle.
The bloom
whatever.
is not obnoxious because after playing like Fortnite, PUBG in third person, bloom is just the most horrendous thing on the planet. Like you just can't hit anything. Like besides your first shot on somebody, like everything else just misses.
Yeah.
And so it's nice for my bullets to go where I aim. Like that's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like having
And that may
Battle
not feel
Royale.
like it because some of the guns are atrocious.
Yeah,
They're god awful.
I'm sure. Every game is like this.
Some machine gun sucks.
Yeah.
Great.
So bad.
Oh,
It
yeah.
shoots so fast.
Oh yeah.
Only 18 bullets in the mag.
Ugh.
It's like, fucking
Right, and then
overload.
right.
And that whole mag can't even kill a person.
You know what though? One thing I kind of complain about with Apex is the ammo.
Yeah.
Ammo is very scarce in my opinion. Like because I have been in positions where I've actually run out of ammo in a gunfight, and I would start like gunfights with like 100 bullets, and like you'd spray them and like an assault rifle or a submachine gun, and then you would have no more bullets. Like the only time I feel like I've had a lot of bullets and never had to worry about it was when I was either sniping, or when I had my shotgun and I
Yeah.
picked up a crap ton of shotgun shells. Because like the time to kill in that game takes a long time, so you're gonna need a lot of bullets, especially if you're taking down a group of 3 people.
Unless you have the wingman or peacekeeper.
Right, unless you have the wingman or peacekeeper.
Wow.
So one thing for me would be more bullets for your
More
guns.
bullets. That's something
And it
fun.
should be a lot more easier to carry because you're limited to 60 bullets per inventory slot, and I feel like it should be like 100.
Yeah. It
Or
should be-
maybe
it should be
80 or 100, something like that, just more. And there needs to be more ammo spawns.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'd say I like games that have ammo, kind of like I can see arguments for both sides. Like if you put more ammo into the game, yeah, you'll have like ammo during all of your engagements, but
Takes
then
away
there's
from
not
part
as
of
much
the
like
survival
Right,
part.
it takes away from the
but then there's not as much like management of resource.
Right.
So you're just gonna end up going out and just spraying at everybody. They're like, if you just had ammo readily available at all times, what's to stop you from just spraying your assault rifle and SMG at like freaking everybody?
Right.
Like,
And that's what it needs to. It needs to be a bit more balanced with like the amount of times it takes to kill.
Mhm.
It either needs to be more bullets or less time to kill because people are bullet sponges in that game, especially Gibraltar, who is literally just a walking tank.
I don't know. It might be fine the way it is because again, I
mean,
don't-
no. I mean, it's pretty good. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that it's bad, but I'm just saying it could be improved that way.
Yeah.
And that's just my opinion.
I mean, I've only played one.
because those are the situations I've been in.
I feel like it's important to keep mentioning that I've only played one.
Yeah.
Because I'm here for an hour podcast about a game I haven't played much of. So, but you know, I played a lot of Fortnite. I got tier 100 about a week ago. That was kind of cool.
I've never went back to it.
Yeah, no, me neither.
I never played Fortnite. Never played
I
Fortnite.
haven't played since season 3.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
trash at building.
I
Even
haven't
after
played since the
playing-
game came out.
Even after playing like freaking like 300 hours of Fortnite, I'm still absolute trash at building. It's probably past 300 hours. At
I
this point.
switched, when I used to play, I switched to Builder.
Yeah, but I mean, I play on PC, so like mouse and keyboard. Like I still haven't
You should be
learned.
faster then.
Yeah, you should be.
No,
doing
I
that.
haven't like learned the
Learn.
like keybinds that I'm good at. Like I play Destiny 2 on my
They
PC.
have creative mode. Go in there and just start doing
Yeah, I know, but that's boring.
How are you gonna get better?
Anyways.
I don't know.
Okay,
It's
we're
like-
gonna move on, Nick.
Before you start having a hissy fit about this, we're gonna talk about the developers, Respawn, and
Okay.
EA,
That
the
was-
evil monsters. We all know the match.
Evil monsters. So there's like two evil greed monsters in the industry that everybody knows. It's Activision and EA. Like I feel like if those companies just went down in burning flames,
I
everybody would
read
celebrate.
something about Activision, like they just released like over 700 employees from the
Yeah,
company
Yeah.
because everything is just on fire because Bungie left them, and
Yeah.
literally it's a sinking ship and everyone's jumping off.
Yeah.
Getting in the lifeboat, so they're trying to paddle away as
Yeah.
fast as they can.
But so when I originally found out about Apex Legends, I was like, okay, where do I download this? And I saw it was the Origin launcher. I'm like, crap, EA's behind this.
Right.
This can't be good. Because originally I was like, okay, it's gonna be good for the first 2 weeks, and then they're gonna slap you in the face and be like, all right, we're gonna add like 5 maps to the game, but you have to pay $50 a piece for the maps. It's like, okay.
I feel like Respawn kind of stood up to EA.
but
because like EA stock is failing because like the whole Star Wars Battlefront 2 like loot boxes and stuff like that really like if you like pay attention to the stock and stuff like that, it plummeted, and like they had to kind of like admit to our demands, if that
Yeah.
makes sense. They
And
had to do what we wanted them
Yeah,
to
and
do,
so
or
I'm-
else they were gonna go
I'm
out.
really happy Respawn
Right.
is behind it because.
Respawn
Because
is something you can
Because
respect.
if I'm not mistaken, Titanfall 2, if I don't remember if it was an article I read or if I'm just thinking it and it's not true. So don't quote me on this. But I think Titanfall 2 didn't meet friggin' EA's like expectations.
Yeah, no,
for
they
profit.
expect games because like Titanfall 1 was really successful, and that's why it obviously got a sequel. But with games like that, like the board of directors are basically the people who are running EA see it only as kind of profit.
Yeah.
And they saw it as like, oh, that didn't make as much money, even though they made a crap ton of money making these games.
Yeah, like Titanfall 2 was a good game. It was
Right.
really good, but it didn't meet their
It came
sales
out at the wrong
expectations.
time.
They came out at the
it came
wrong
out at
time,
the sa-
competing with
Okay, they
Battlefield.
shot themselves in the foot because they released it with Battlefield 1, which is another EA game. So they released Battlefield 1 and Titanfall 2 at the same time. So they're competing with themselves in that.
Right. And
aspect.
Battlefield 1 was a really good game.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being torn between what I wanted to play, and I eventually chose Battlefield 1. Because
Yeah.
I felt like there was just a lot better like gameplay, I guess, and more content in Battlefield 1, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And so you end up getting situations like that where it's like, okay, well I'm gonna get Battlefield 1 because I like Battlefield instead of releasing it a couple months
Right.
apart and being like, and giving somebody the option of like, okay, I bought Battlefield 1 a couple months ago, but now Titanfall 2's out. I played Battlefield 1, let me buy Titanfall 2.
Right.
Instead of just being like, okay, they came out at the same time.
Yeah, they
which
released
one
them
am I
together
playing?
like in packs.
There was
I
like
remember
$100 packs.
like for $120 you could get both games together in like a pack, and you get like extra stuff in each game. You bought it together,
Right.
and it's like, who wants to pay $120 on a game?
Right.
Especially
No
coming
one's
from
gonna jump
EA,
in.
you never know what's going to be in there. You might have to pay money for stuff past a full price game.
Right.
So it just kind of came out at a bad time. So I'm glad that Respawn is kind of like redeemed themselves, because I'm sure they're going to be making a crap ton of money off of it.
Oh yeah, definitely. I feel like I bet
They already have. I'm sure.
There's already microtransactions in the game, which I hate, but it's cosmetic, so I can live with it.
Like all the until they release heroes that require actual currency to buy,
Right, and like when the grind is too much.
or impossible. Like
Right,
if they add in heroes that are exclusively only bought with like whatever the Apex coins,
Right.
then I think that that's reason to be upset. But if you can unlock all the characters in game with in-game currency that you earn playing the game, I don't see any
It's
problem.
kind of
with
like
that.
Rainbow Six Siege.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
And so if they keep all the cosmetics locked behind paywalls, if they do it exactly like Fortnite did, where you just basically have to pay for the cosmetics, then I think that they'll make a crap ton of money, and then that'll give Respawn kind of like, oh look, Respawn, they didn't make as much money with Titanfall 2, but now they're bringing in all the money with Apex, and so it'll
That's how it's kind of going with Star Wars right now. Like, cause if anyone plays Star Wars, I think I'm the only one here that still plays Star Wars Battlefront 2 because I just love Star Wars. But the Titan mode that was supposed to come out February 27th got delayed and pushed back another month because I feel like EA doesn't see Star Wars Battlefront 2 as profitable anymore.
Yeah.
It doesn't see it as a profit, so
Well,
they will put the
Star
both
Wars
that game's already
Battlefront
crashed when it
right. Like,
Yeah.
the whole loot boxes just killed the game.
So like Star Wars Battlefront 2 like topped Destiny 2, which is kind of weird. Both sequels that were just awful.
Right.
But like Star Wars Battlefront 2 was like the worst game release of like all time in like the past, in like at least in our gaming life.
Like
it
you-
was just awful.
You could tell when you first put on the game and you like wanted to play the multiplayer.
The people that had the game before you and like were grinding the ever living crap out of it would literally just wipe the floor with you because like they would have all the good star cards and like all the good
Yeah, it was
like all the good heroes and stuff like that. Because there was that paywall I remember where like a sense of pride and accomplishment to unlock Darth Vader and Luke, and it was like 80 hours of your life just to grind out for like Luke Skywalker or for
Yeah.
Darth Vader.
And then like
That
all-
was just ridiculous.
And then having all the cosmetics and star cards and stuff locked behind paywalls
Right.
and stuff, it was literally pay to win, and so it was so bad, and so I'm glad
By
to
the time they
see.
changed it, it was too late.
It was too late. Everyone's moved on. No one cares anymore.
And so,
then there's just people like me who love Star Wars who just desperately cling onto the
Yeah.
game.
And so that's why I think that it's great that Apex is doing well. It's got
Right.
a fair monetization system, and I hope that EA sees the success of Apex and says, okay, if we actually put in fair monetization, we're good. People will play the game and give us money if it's good, and we're not scraping money like from it. It's like, and I read in another article. I think I already mentioned it earlier, but like Titanfall 2's player base has got a resurgence over the past few
Yeah.
weeks.
Me and Matt have been playing Titanfall recently.
Yeah,
And
just
we are
because.
thoroughly enjoying it.
Because again, that crowd of people who chose Battlefield 1 or chose Call of Duty World War II over Titanfall 2 during that like whole release period back in like 2017, they're all now seeing Respawn's a good developer. Let's check out this game they released, and Titanfall 2 is a great game. So I'm happy that player base is kind of resurging and people are finding matches quicker, that kind of stuff.
So I guess kind of our final topic is what we want from Apex Legends in the future.
What we
or
want,
future updates.
yeah,
stuff
like
that.
what we don't like right now and what we want to add.
Right.
Right.
For me personally, it would have to be new maps,
Mhm.
bug fixes,
Yeah.
and new weapons. That was
More
literally
maps.
that's what it would come down to. New maps because they only have one map and it's gonna get old soon, just like
They're
Fortnite.
not going to do new maps. They're only going to keep renovating.
You think they're only gonna keep renovating?
So.
Well,
I
I'm
hope
just saying
that-
this is what I want from it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not going to happen.
Well, you know,
You can only vote.
I'll kind of add on to that because, like, you said that, like, they already said that they're just going to keep one out. I really hope they don't do that Because
Make a new map.
like no, I really hope they don't just stick to one map and just
Right.
keep
They're
updating.
sticking
Yeah.
to one map.
Because
that's what Fortnite's doing.
Because that's like, I mean, I think because it's just boring. If you're somebody who plays the game a lot, it's just boring to have like one map that you have to play over and over again. Like one of the most requested things in Fortnite is to have the ability, like at least in playgrounds and creative or whatever, to be able to roll back the map to previous updates so you can play on old locations with friends or have tournaments in the old Fortnite maps.
Right.
But that's just not a thing. And so I really think that another way that Apex Legends could diversify their content from other battle royales is having those multiple maps that you could play on.
Yeah.
Because again, one map is going to get old quick, and even if they update it like every month or so, it's just going to be minor changes, and I don't know if that's going to like keep people playing. Because the map right now is, in my opinion, it's just like a generic desert, sandy
and that's really what it is. Because like the buildings are kind of like there's some unique locations like Marketplace. Where like it's a giant like market, obviously, and there's different stories and levels and like stuff like that. There's different entrances, but besides that, like the little tiny like shanty towns that are all over the place are just like barren 1 to 2 story buildings with 2 doors on each side that you can run in and out of, and there's like just like a gun sitting on the floor. That's literally what it is. Like besides the unique locations and like the supply ship, that's literally what the rest of the map is, and I feel like they need to.
Yeah, like
Renovate some of that too.
so if they do choose to keep one map, then I guess that's something I hope is that they change the.
They add a lot more detail.
Yeah, they add in more detail. They add in stuff inside of the buildings and inside of structures that are actually interesting and compelling, and not just like an open room with a gun in the middle.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just hope. I really wish that some sort of battle royale developer, whether it be Apex Legends or not, put in like multiple maps because it just sucks.
It's obviously not going to happen.
It gets old
This year, I would think, because it's just come out. Obviously.
Yeah, it's just come out. So
And-
this is a lot. This is asking a lot of
Right.
a game that's just came out. But I'm just saying, like down the line, like in 6 months from now, if people are going to be keep playing Apex by then, like I hope that they add new maps and like they still give you the option of playing old ones.
Right.
Yeah, that's just my thing. I don't know, anything you specifically think?
I was in the demo nerf the damn wingman.
Nerf the
Nerf the
wingman.
damn
My guy
wingman.
killed
Dude,
so
that
many
gun,
times
man.
by it.
Oh my god, yeah, that gun does need.
Whatever.
to be
When I
used.
picked it up for the first time, I didn't know how to shoot it, and I shot someone in the head and just died.
Right.
Oh.
It's it's
Whoa.
stupid. It's stupidly strong.
Yeah, that's great. Well, that was kind of the podcast. I don't know, it was more of a conversation. We probably
It's
will.
basically what podcast is.
Yeah. Yeah. So hopefully it was somewhat cohesive. I'm not sure if it was.
If you're still here, congratulations.
Yeah, if you're
you
still
sat
here-
through
if
all
you're-
of this.
If you're still here, go in the comments and comment. What should they comment? Comment freaking Illuminati confirmed. Comment Illuminati confirmed if you made it this far. All good podcasts require an outro and shameless plugs. Okay. So
Isn't that what we just did with the comments?
not really. If you want to follow the podcast, all you got to do is subscribe and hit the bell notification
Are you proud of
icon.
Are you
And then after you hit the
Are
bell
you proud of
notification-
that sentence?
And then after you hit the bell notification icon, then you did good. Comment Illuminati confirmed.
Oh
I
god,
did it.
please stop to send the video.
Fine. I'll
So
edit it.
bad.